Welcome. I'm Julie Thompson, Executive Director of pac-tv, and today we're hosting a COVID-19 update for the town of Kingston. We'll hold these forums every Tuesday and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Watch in Kingston on Comcast Channel 15 and Verizon Channel 42, or watch online on our streaming channel by visiting pac-tv.org/live. To ask questions during this forum, email them to kingstoninfo@pactv.org. For the forum replay schedule and additional Kingston meeting coverage, please visit pactv.org/Kingston. Today, I'm just with Josh Warren, who is the chair of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Kingston, because so many people are often doing things that had to do with the storm that happened last night. Josh, talk to us about that.
Yeah, we had a couple of scheduling conflicts today. Obviously yesterday's weather impacted a lot of us here in Kingston and surrounding towns. Luckily Kingston, I think, we weren't hit quite as hard as some of the neighboring towns. I just got off the phone with our superintendent of streets, trees, and parks, just to chat with him about last night's effort to clean the roads, to make sure that Eversource had access to restore power, things like that. And judging by Eversource's map just a few minutes ago, we're still with about 160 homes that are without power, which is roughly 2.5% of Eversource customers in Kingston. So kudos to everybody at Streets, Trees, and Parks who were out there yesterday evening and are still out there today clearing brush. The biggest issues seem to be on Ring Road, where we had a tree come down. And going into 106 in Plimpton, there was apparently a large tree down that created some traffic issues on West Street. But again, a lot of homes were impacted. We were without power here for much of yesterday evening into the early morning hours. So again, my apologies that we don't have a bigger group with us today, but everybody's obviously working hard on addressing the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And yesterday's weather was almost like insult to injury, where there was just work piled on top of work for many of Kingston's employees.
Yeah, thank you for that. You're absolutely right. And every town suffered the same fate because of that storm yesterday. That was pretty bad. Can you just give us the updated numbers today for the people that have tested positive in the town of Kingston?
Sure. So as reported in yesterday's letter to residents, Plymouth County announced an increase of 117 confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 in the county. DPH rather announced the increase in Plymouth County. So Plymouth County is now at 2,141 confirmed positive cases. And yesterday we were actually made aware that we had a spike in Kingston as well. So we went from 10 confirmed cases to 18. We spent a lot of yesterday's emergency management team call actually discussing that increase. 13 of Kingston's 18 confirmed positive cases are within one facility. So, I think the efforts of the town and the residents have really, contained this to some level. It's hard to say what it would be, if folks weren't washing their hands and wearing face masks and socially distancing. But, throughout the town of Kingston, there's 18 confirmed cases, 13 again are at one facility. And the emergency management team and the Board of Health are in communication with the facility to assist them in their efforts to contain the situation and provide any resources that they may, deem necessary. It's worth mentioning as well that the emergency management team's in constant contact with the Baker Polito administration. And yesterday, when we spoke to them regarding the increase in numbers in Kingston, they made it clear that they would make available the full resources of the state to help in any mitigation efforts that the facility may want to take advantage of.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. And also, when you're speaking of the social distancing and the mask wearing, I've noticed everywhere I go now, it seems more and more people are donning face covering of some sort, which is it's really good that people are paying attention. And you're right, it's working. The numbers are proving it out that the spread is slowing down, which is really great news. Now, we're a month into this response right now. Can you kind of give an overview of how you think things are going in the town of Kingston?
Sure. Again, we're looking at over 2,000 cases in Plymouth County, and granted, it's a large county. There's areas that are densely populated versus Kingston, which is more rural. But our numbers are relatively low given what we're seeing at the county level. So, at this point, just about a month ago, we started closing down municipal buildings, parks, playgrounds to the public. In hindsight, it seems kind of silly that we hemmed and hawed for, upwards of an hour on a decision to close a municipal building like the public library. But at the time, that seemed like an extreme measure to be taking. We closed these buildings, we closed the parks, the playgrounds, in an effort to really decrease the opportunity for COVID-19 to be transmitted throughout the town of Kingston. We wanted to make sure that we were setting up the town for success in terms of, the health of residents, the health of local businesses, just improving the outcomes given that this was coming. And it was clear based on what we were seeing internationally and nationally that, no community was going to be immune from COVID-19. So a month ago, we started making those decisions. The Board of Health, the emergency management team, the Board of Selectmen have encouraged residents to socially distance. We've encouraged everybody to be, vigilantly washing their hands with soap and water. If that's not available, to use a disinfectant, and to stay at home unless it's absolutely necessary to go out. And even though there's been a tremendous effort from the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Health, the emergency management team, I think it's really important to recognize and thank residents because ultimately, the responsibility has rested with them, and the effort that's being made at the local governance level, only goes so far. It really is the residents who are again washing their hands, socially distancing, staying at home. That effort is having a collective impact on the overall health of our community. I don't want to speak for other members of my board. I don't want to speak for other members of the emergency management team or the Board of Health. But I can say that I'm impressed with the actions that residents are taking, heeding the advice of local, state, and national officials. I said it, I think in every communication to residents this weekend, but I'll say it again. Thank you to all the residents who've socially distanced. Thank you to all the residents who've stayed at home and washed their hands and worn gloves when they're out in public. Who cough and sneeze into their elbows. I know that's, an adjustment for some folks. And the folks who are out there wearing face masks when they go grocery shopping. Every opportunity that we can take to stop a possible transmission of this highly contagious virus is a huge step towards getting our kids back to school, all of us going back to work, and really all of us starting to have some sense of normalcy in our lives. So a month in, I think that the town's response has been appropriate. I think that the residents' response has been incredible. And again, I want to pat everybody on the back for really, adjusting their daily lives. It's not easy. It's not easy when you have routines. It's not easy when you're trying to work from home and your kids are there with you. Everybody's making huge adjustments right now. And I think the numbers that we're seeing, really show that it's working. So 1 month in, I think that Kingston's headed in a pretty good direction.
Excellent, thank you. And I agree that each of our towns is very impressive. I think how the town management is stepping up and constantly keeping in touch with everyone in town. And speaking of keeping in touch, your website has some updates that I've noticed. You want to walk through the website with me as far as what updates we have, and I will click on whatever you tell me to click on?
Sure. I'll give you a second to pull it up.
It's up.
And then I can walk you through a couple of those new features. So if you go to the town website, www.kingstonmass.org, what you're looking at now is the home screen. And if you click that COVID-19 banner, that's sort of, there you go. That brings you to the dedicated COVID-19 page. While we're here, Julie, I just want to pause for a brief moment and thank Jana Morrissey and Diane Poirier in the clerk's office. Those two have been making updates to this website at least once daily, sometimes multiple times throughout the day. And, weekends are no exception. Easter was no exception. They're making these updates from home. They're doing just a tremendous job making sure that all of the resources that are being provided or being created are really out there for residents. So I just want to make sure that both Jana and Diane get the thanks that they deserve. So earlier this week, Selectman McFarland compiled a list of links that are available on that page These are links to relief funds that have been created to support residents and businesses who've been adversely impacted by the ongoing pandemic. So if you go right down to the bottom, you'll see there is a link, third from the bottom, COVID-19 relief fund list. And then if you click that hyperlink, there you go. So there is a list that we will continue to update and maintain. And it has resources, for a whole host of folks that may be, again, adversely impacted by COVID-19. There's financial assistance for military families and families of fallen service members. There's resources for individuals who are facing challenges with food security, resources for small businesses, and many more. That's a list that we will continue to update, and as new information becomes available, we'll be sure to include it there. And if you can just go back to the COVID-19 landing page again.
Sorry.
The other resource that I just want to make sure that we mention, and we've talked about this in previous updates, but I think it is important enough to draw attention to again. If you scroll down a little ways, about 3/4 of the way down the page, you'll see there's information regarding the Commonwealth's new nursing home family resource line. So the Executive Office of Health and Human Services launched this, I believe, at the beginning of last week. And it's a dedicated phone line to connect family members of nursing home and rest home residents with information and resources. The resource line provides one central contact for families and community members that may have questions about nursing home or rest home care that their loved ones are receiving during the pandemic. They're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 7 days a week. Their phone number is listed right on the website, but I'll say it now for anyone who's got a pen and paper ready. It's 617-660-5399. Again, 617-660-5399. And I can't tell you the response that we've had from residents just from that specific link. The day that we posted it, I heard from a few folks who have family members who are in nursing homes in the Commonwealth. And they were grateful that they had one dedicated line that they could now, call for answers to questions that, they've been kicking around.
Excellent. Wow, this is a great website. Again, just go to kingstonmass.org and then click on the banner for the COVID-19 update, and you will have everything you need here, including the different towns, how to get in touch with the people in the town offices. Have you heard anything, Josh? A couple questions have come in about the SBA loans and the unemployment and all the economic assistance that's out there that people are waiting to get information on.
Sure. So I'm certainly no expert in SBA loans or the financial assistance that's been made available at the state level. I know that Rep. Lenatra was on this past week on Friday. She was with us earlier in the morning, and then she had an episode or an update rather on pac-tv specific to those questions. So I would certainly encourage anybody who's watching now that has questions about small business loans, that has questions about unemployment and what resources are available, to either reach out to Rep. Lenatra directly or to watch. And I'm sure you guys have that available on the pac-tv website. But there was a program filmed last week that may answer a lot of those questions. And if not, they'll certainly point you in the right direction.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yes, that's actually, anybody can watch that on demand on our website. If you go to pactv.org/Duxbury, that happened to be a Duxbury forum that we did, the economic forum, and you can watch that. And you're right, there was a lot of really useful information. Again, that changes all the time too.
Julie, I think what I'll try to do too, even though that was a Duxbury forum, I mean, the content is so relevant to residents and businesses in Kingston.
Yep.
I'll work with the folks in the clerk's office and see if we can add that to the resource page.
Great.
I think that would certainly be helpful. So I'll make a note to link that, and hopefully we can point residents and businesses in Kingston in that direction.
Okay, super. Thank you. Now, who do you have coming on for Friday's update?
So back by popular demand, I guess you could say, we had a couple of folks request that we bring back Amy Burns, who is the adjustment counselor. I think there's certainly a whole lot to talk about. So I'm going to see if we can bring her back on. And then also Dr. Nicole Wood, who spoke to us about telehealth, hoping that she can join us again. And then there's another local faith leader, Eric Greer, from the Restoration, I believe it's the Restoration Community Church. But he also runs a food pantry out of their parish, and they've been impacted by this in a number of different ways. Obviously, the way that they operate and the way that they hold services has changed because of the social distancing guidelines. But also their food pantry, I think is something that we could all talk about. Early on, they saw a decrease in the donations of food because they had previously relied on folks coming to services that were bringing donations, and that seemed to dry up once services were no longer being held. But also, he was anticipating that there would be an increased need. So as more and more folks found that they were being faced by challenges due to the pandemic, he anticipated that they may have a increase in requests. So I'm hoping to bring Eric on as well. Eric's a great guy. He's a local guy. He's also the chaplain at the Kingston Fire Department. So, if nothing more, it would be a great way to introduce him to the community and talk to him about the work that they're doing, locally within their parish as it relates to COVID-19.
Great. Okay, that sounds like a good lineup. And again, any resident, just go to the Kingston's main page, townofkingston.org, and you'll get everything you need right in that one location, which is really, really helpful, Josh. Thank you. That'll do it for now, unless you have anything else you need to talk about today.
Sure. So there was one other thing that I just wanted to touch on briefly. Throughout the last few days, we've had a number of conversations among the emergency management team about a few concerns, that members have. One being with warmer weather, residents may be tempted to disregard some of the social distancing guidelines that they've been so attentive to over the last several weeks. As I said, earlier in the update, it's really hard to break your normal routine, but staying inside and not going outside to play baseball or frisbee with your kids is a lot easier when it's cold and it's dark outside. It's also a lot easier to keep your kids from playing with the neighborhood kids, when it's sort of dreary out. With the nice weather upon us, everybody just wants to remind residents to continue socially distancing, continue hand washing, continue staying at home unless it's necessary, because those things are working. These actions, as frustrating as they may be at times, as difficult as they may be to adhere to and remember, they are preventing the spread of the virus. They're helping preserve hospital capacity for those who are very ill. And they also help our first responders preserve protective equipment, which is critically needed right now. So we just wanted to make sure that folks continue to do the great job that they've been doing over the last several weeks. It's going to be tempting as it gets nicer out to want to go to the beach and play ball with the neighborhood kids. But we really want to encourage residents to continue doing what they're doing, because again, it's working. And then just one other quick topic that keeps coming up throughout the emergency management team calls is face masks. So you said, there's a noticeable difference in the number of folks who are out and about at the dump, at the grocery store, all throughout town wearing face masks. And I think as we see more and more people doing it, it's becoming clear that there are also some folks who are not yet doing it. Two members of the fire department had reported that during trips to Home Depot and Lowe's over the weekend to get things for the fire station, they noticed that there were a number of people that were out shopping that weren't wearing face masks. And as we discussed on Friday's program, and I forget if it was State Rep Lenatra or Rec Director Sue Woodworth, noted that maybe not everybody has access to a face mask. So we have a link on the town's website again to the CDC guidelines on how to properly wear a face covering and how to make a face covering out of household items or low-cost items. And I saw a video with U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams earlier this week, who demonstrated how to make a face covering in a few simple steps using items that folks may have around the house. So if everybody's up for it, I'm just going to demonstrate how to do it really quickly. It's really easy, and all you need are two elastics, and I took two hair elastics from my wife. and a bandana. You can use, any sort of cloth that's roughly this shape. The Surgeon General, I believe, in his video used a cut-up T-shirt and demonstrated how to do that. But if you take a square piece of cloth like this, and again, this is just a standard bandana, and you fold it in half, and I'll try to do this so everyone can see. So you fold it in half from the top down to the middle, and then you do the same, the bottom down to the middle, so you have something that looks like this. And then you fold it in half one more time. You can then take your elastics, and if you slip them over either end and you slide them down maybe 4 or 5 inches, it'll look like this. So if you then fold it in one more time, end to end, you end up with something that looks like this with 2 elastics on either side. And it's a little tricky with headphones in, but you can slip it right on and over. And it gives you, oh, there we go. This worked so well when I practiced this morning. It gives you, some level of protection. And again, these are items that are in the house. You can sort of tuck it down so that it's snug. And what's nice about it too, I mean, we have a 5-year-old here, as some folks may have seen walking by a few minutes ago. You can slide the elastics in any direction, and it really allows you to fit for a child or somebody who has a larger face to cover. So it was a great video by the Surgeon General. He made it look a lot easier than me, but I'm guessing it took him more than one take. But I'd certainly encourage folks. Again, one of the concerns that comes up on the call is that while we're seeing a lot of folks adhering to this, it's really an all hands on deck effort. If you're going to the grocery store, please wear gloves, please wear a face covering. If you're out and about in the community, just remember that you're not just doing it for your own health, you're doing it for the health of your neighbors and everybody throughout town. So that's about it.
Thank you. That was very helpful. And you're right. It's really easy to make them. We have a number of people here at pac-tv who've made them for the rest of the staff or make them themselves at their desks. And it's super easy. And there's a million different things if you go on YouTube to how to make face masks or how to make face coverings, which is great. So thank you very much, Josh. We'll look forward to seeing you on Friday at 10:30 for the Kingston COVID-19 update. Again, if you'd like to replay this, just go to pactv.org/Kingston, and you will see all the COVID-19 updates we've done. If you'll notice, we date stamp this every single day, and we do that because things change every day, and you never know what date we're going to be, new information might come out. So keep that in mind. So this is Julie Thompson from pac-TV. Please practice social distancing, stay positive, and we will see you on Friday.